All right, hello everybody. It's great to be here. Welcome to Coffee with a Missionary. I got my
Hey.
coffee cup here, and so excited today to be talking with Josh Jasper. Josh is a missionary associate to El Salvador, and we're just really excited about having you on, Josh.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It'll be fun to hang out with you guys and chat a little bit.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll kind of just talk a little bit once this gets people started. I don't see anyone on yet, but they will come on as it comes, I'm sure. All right. So we got one viewer. Welcome, viewer. But this is Coffee with the Missionary. I'm Noah Lane, and we're talking with Josh Jasper. He's a missionary associate to El Salvador. And we're talking about expectations versus reality. And as we go through this video, we'd love to hear your comments, your feedback, answer your questions, even as we go about it. So Josh, before we start, I guess just talk a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and what you're doing in El Salvador.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, my name is Josh Jasper. I'm a missionary associate that works with King's Castle Ministries, if you are familiar with King's Castle. And so I work as our AIM director, intern coordinator, and world warrior coordinator. So I really oversee a lot of our North American programs that take place here in country. Along with our North American Master's Commission students, a friend and I kind of dual that program together, and then just kind of fit any role that sees fit. So I get to work with the Bible school students a lot. I get to work with all of our North Americans that come in and out of our programs. And so I keep my hands busy, but it's a lot of fun. So it's a lot of
That's awesome.
busy work.
So we're for those of you joining us, this is Coffee with a Missionary. We're talking with Josh Jasper. He is a missionary associate in El Salvador. And we're talking about expectations versus reality. So, Josh, we all know that sometimes we don't even think about them, but we have expectations about what full-time missions or what missions in general looks like. So can you kind of just touch just a brief few expectations you had going in to full-time missions?
Yeah. I don't know. I think some of the expectations that I had were that you're going to constantly be surrounded by like a super active community.
Oh, you froze up on us, Josh.
But that it was going to be like always kind of on the upper pace and going hard. And no, I think one of some of my expectations, I was thankful to have worked with King's Castle previously. And so having had...
Josh, we're losing you here. All right, I think we lost him. Let's try to get him back here. Sorry about that. Bear with us here just a second. Internet in El Salvador is not ideal. I'm just going to set this link here, but this is Coffee with a Missionary. I'm Noah, and welcome everybody who's listening. We've been talking with Josh Jasper here about expectations versus reality. We welcome your comments and your questions. You can comment, and we'll see those and try to answer those. Right now, we're in the process of getting Josh back on here. I think his internet went out, so that'll happen sometimes. But we're talking a little bit about expectations versus reality, and expectations before going to the mission field can be numerous things. And all right, Josh, we got you back here. Are you back?
Hey, guys.
All right, he's back. Awesome.
I'm back.
All right, so why don't you start again, Josh, and just share a little bit about some of your expectations going into full-time missions for the first time.
Yeah, I think some of my expectations, I don't know if you caught any of them on the last time, but I think no, okay. So I think some of my expectations really were like my experience before in the mission fields, coming as interns, working on teams. I think a lot of my expectations were of that like summer go seasons. And so my expectation was to constantly be surrounded by people. I think constantly having like active ministry always at my fingertips. So I think that was a big thing for me. And I know this probably sounds really naive, but I kind of thought it would be easier. My expectation was going to be that everything was going to kind of go step by step and click by click, and you kind of get like an ease into the system. And I think that expectation was a little out of reach for me, which is okay. It was good. Yeah, those were just a couple of things I thought of.
So most of you joined this is we're talking with Josh Jasper. He's a missionary associate in El Salvador. And we welcome your comments and your questions on this this live feed here. This is our first one, so bear with us. We're hoping to last about 15 minutes, and then it'll also be able to be viewed afterwards. So we look forward to you guys. But Josh, talk a little bit about your biggest expectation that in reality you realized, wow, that expectation was way off.
Yeah, I don't know. I think one of my biggest expectations has to do with kind of like your on and off switch when it comes to ministry. And like, I graduated college and I took a job just while I was itinerating as an admissions counselor for a university. And so as an admissions counselor, I like had my on switch on from, 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And then I could turn it off and kind of go home and enjoy time with family, enjoy time with friends. Of course, I was itinerating, so that was a little different, but in the perspective of maybe just that position. But in missions, and I'm sure there's probably a lot of people in just a ministry aspect overall that would agree with me that the on and off switch as a missionary looks very different. And I don't think, like as an expectation, I think I expected to have a little, to have my off times be off. And be it more like an on and off switch versus like a dimmer switch up and down.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
so like delve into that a little bit more. Like what are you talking about on and off? Like just a complete day off, or talk a little bit about what you mean.
Sure. Yeah, so like I think a good example would be just like even the last couple nights. Like March is a super busy season for us in Salvador, so we have teams. There are a few teams that are here right now, and a couple services actually that we're having tonight to say goodbye to those teams. But I was kind of getting ready for bed the other night and preparing some stuff, and then you get a call. It's like, hey, there's a student that really wants to talk with you about some stuff, and I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'll be right there. And so you kind of get ready all over again. You get kind of situated, and you go and you put yourself in those places, and you want to be there because that's your for me, working in El Salvador with nationals is fantastic. But I also love working alongside the North Americans in their first missional experience to be able to facilitate and to ease people into the opportunity for the Lord to speak to them clearly and how that looks like. And so being able to partner with high school students that are like, I don't know what this is fantastic. So I look forward to those opportunities. They're just like at 10 o'clock, you don't turn your switch off, you just turn your switch down. And then knowing if there's a phone call coming in, like Ministries, the door is still open for you. It's not shut. And I just didn't quite expect some of those things, I think, to be that way, which is neither good nor bad. It just is not what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine how difficult that would be because, I need that time. I'm a type of person that needs that alone time to recharge, So if I'm not quite sure that I'm ever getting that alone time like you're talking about, that's pretty intense. But for everyone listening, if you just joined, this is Coffee with a Missionary, and we're talking with Josh Jasper. He's a missionary associate in El Salvador, working with teams there. And we welcome your comments. We welcome your questions. We'd love to address them for the next about 6-7 minutes that we're still on here. But we're talking about expectations versus reality. And Josh, what was one of the expectations you had going in? Because I know that you worked as an intern in El Salvador before you went into full-time missions. So you had, some idea. What is one of the major expectations that you had that proved out to be exactly how you expected it?
Yeah. I think one of my biggest expectations coming into my position in El Salvador, I actually wasn't planning on being the full-time AIM director and North American coordinator for Castle. I thought I was coming in to teach music and to work in the Bible school in different areas and to like partner with the missionary that was here at the time that was doing that stuff. And so I think one of my expectations that became a reality is really kind of keeping your hands open to the Lord in them or take away from them what he wishes. And so just kind of moving in obedience in a sense. And so I think expectation-wise, I expected to be serving in the Bible school. I expected to be teaching music and be using my degree program. I went to school for music education. I didn't go to school for missions or any Bible degree. And so that's kind of where my head was at. I thought I was going to be more into that stuff. And then reality sets in that, as a missionary associate, or even just as a ministry, you kind of leave your palms open to say, okay, Lord, I'll take whatever you gift me. And so for him to plop in those things, becomes a reality very fast because you take what he gives you and you run with it, So I think that my reality really shifted in that sense. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. It makes sense. And I we hear a lot sometimes in American church circles about finding your gifting and, don't just do anything but find your gifting. And, but, on the mission field, it's the idea, okay, we're just here to serve. And so it kind of seems like there's that balance that you have to ride between, I'm just here to serve and, well, I'd be best used over here. So you mentioned a little bit how you thought you were going to do music, and now you're like the full-time director of the entire AIM teams and all that. What was the hardest thing, aspect of adjusting to that? Just on the spot, you had to adjust to that.
Yeah, I actually was kind of gifted this position halfway through my time in language school. And so I did my job a little bit from afar, which was hard but good. I think it made that transition into that position a lot easier. And I was really, really thankful for not just my mentor missionaries down in Terry, but for the missionary that held my position beforehand, who was a great friend of mine. She really walked me through some of those steps, and she led me well through my times as an intern, and even Jacob Noel when he was here. The two of them, Katie Carter was really kind of prepared a way for me to settle in and kind of find my rhythm. And then by the time I got here in April, teams were coming, and so everything was really baptism by fire. But it was nice that I had worked as an intern, kind of like you had meant and I had said before, because I had a rhythm of ministry. The Lord is going to prepare you for what He calls you to, and He's going to equip you. And so I think I definitely had an equipping and a preparation season that I wasn't aware of until I got my boots on the ground. And, kind of started walking in faith, realizing that I had those steps kind of illuminated before me in dance.
Yeah, that's awesome. For those of you who just joined us, we're talking with Josh Jasper, missionary associate to El Salvador. This is Coffee with a Missionary, and we're excited. We got about 2 more minutes here, so if you have any comments, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the comment section there, and we'd love to address them. Josh, so far, how long have you been in El Salvador to this point?
So I've been here in El Salvador for almost a year. So mid-April, I'll hit my 1-year mark here.
So what's this is kind of putting you on the spot, but what's kind of the most incredible mission experience that you've had thus far in your year there? I know that's an open question.
Yeah. I think because my hands and because the opportunities that I've been given kind of stretch in so many directions, it's been incredible to see God move in so many different areas, whether that's my students in the Bible school, whether they're North American students. My North American students are phenomenal. Alongside of our national students that are here, seeing them use their gifts and what God has blessed them with, teaching them English and music and seeing them thrive and, seeing healing happen in front of them, just that kind of amazing. But I think the highlight of my ministry, my experience so far, has really been working alongside my interns and leading my interns my first year, which was from June 1st to August 1st, and then having us as a team facilitate all of our AIM teams that came in last summer. I think I remember what it was like to have a leader like Jacob Noel and Katie Carter who led me super well. And so being able to say, like, I've walked through this program and now I get to lead it and I had 19 interns with me last summer. Having them serve in different capacities and watching the Lord develop their hearts and their passion for missions and for ministry and seeing God's kingdom like active on this earth, not just an idea, but like a real life thing. I think was really incredible for me. And so I have interns from last summer that are now going to the Philippines, that are hoping to go to Brazil, that are traveling just to so many different areas around the world. And I think that some of the formational stuff that they learned here, they get to take along with them. So I think that was probably a highlight for me. And I expected to love it, the internship, and I did. The reality of everything that has happened over the last 11 months has really been incredible. So.
Well, praise the Lord. Josh, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to share just your experiences, be a little open, and I hope it was helpful for everyone who listened. I'm sure you'd love to respond to people's questions. Josh, what is a way that people can contact you, an email, or a way that they can get in touch with you if they have questions?
Yeah. If they want to contact me, you can write me on Facebook. Josh Jasper is my name. I think my picture is probably the one that you saw on the stuff of me eating a peach. But you can find me there, Instagram, or email me. However way, I would love to get in contact with you. I think that, and just to continue on the expectation thing, the expectation for missionaries, I think, are sometimes that we're on the field and we're busy and we're so far out of reach. But with technology these days, it makes it so easy and tangible to contact people. And so I would love to be able to walk with somebody through those beginning steps or answer any questions that people might have about missions.
Awesome. So we did get one from Nico. Thank you, Nico, for sharing your question. He says, what expectations do some visiting teams have that are usually different from the reality of the mission field? Can you speak to that, Josh?
It's a really good question, Nico. Good question. I think that anyone probably would say that everyone at the end of our despedidas or our farewell services say, I expected to come here to change a country and I walk away being changed. I think that's probably a really big expectation of teams. But I think that a lot of people don't, that have the expectation that that poverty or that being active in a country that doesn't have as many things as the U.S., that we look upon that our teams sometimes come with the mentality like, oh, I have to help. I have to be kind of that savior complex that kind of comes into play when these people are so happy, they're so full, and they're so lively, especially, and I can only speak on behalf of, for the Salvadoran people, they're so full of life and they're so joyous and they're so happy. And so you don't, for teams, I think they expect to see people when they live in a certain condition, maybe to be so sad or frustrated when really they're happy and they enjoy and they love what they have. And so being able to provide and bring somebody to the foot of the cross and, present them with the idea of accepting the Lord as their Savior is a bonus to the happiness that they already carry, that they're not, and it kind of releases maybe that weight and that burden of financial issues or certain things like that. But people aren't hurt necessarily or sad because of the conditions of what they live in. Really, I think that everything is just a perspective switch. I think.
That's so awesome. That's so incredible. Well, thanks again, Josh. We're gonna end it here. But thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened to Josh share his wisdom and his experiences. But thank you, Josh, so much once again. And please reach out to Josh, Facebook him, email him to follow up questions. We'd love to hear from you, love to respond. And this has been Coffee with a Missionary. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.